made this group happen?
My memory is that it was just sessions, just practice, just connection, exploration. I don't know if social is the word, but forming new connections. I don't know if you even knew Chet. I don't really remember. And Chet and I came out, we started playing, having a great time, and then there were a few gigs that Michael organized with quartet, with pianist Russ Lossing, and then with Jacob Sachs. This is 2019. And then 2020 rolls around, year gets started, we're all just doing fine, looking for chances to play together again, either as a trio or a quartet. Pandemic arrives, and I guess must have been summertime when we realized that we could be outdoors, and if we were far from each other, it was thought to be relatively safe. And we started playing in the backyard here, and it was one of maybe 2 or 3 things I could look forward to musical things I could look forward to in a week or in some period of time that made me feel like a whole person, like a musician. It was just an absolutely magical thing to come out here to Michael's home, Michael and Sandy's home, with Chet and play as a trio, and we began developing music together.
Forged. Feels like we forged it in that period. It's a crisis for everyone, but when I look back upon like what it felt like, and these are the words as I'm listening to you talk, and it's like, feels like we're galvanized, and I was like, no, we forged this thing in the middle of this time, which
It's kind of a forgery. Actually.
It's a forgery. But yeah, with these bonds that we made in the backyard before any formal repertoire emerged from Mike, and before any real formal leadership, trying to find a focus to what this group was, and then Mike brought this work to us.
Yeah, and even going back a little further, there was a period there where it was like no one even has any idea when we're going to get back to anything normal. So when they were, expressed their willingness to come out here, it was like, oh, this is fantastic. And so, yeah, we played so many times just out there on the patio, and we started off kind of playing like tunes, and we started off playing, we do improvs, and then it just kind of coincidentally in that same time period, I had gotten notification from the Jazz Coalition, and they were doing their second round of grants, and they were just small composition grants. And literally the day after I got notification, I sat down and I started writing those pieces. So I had this pile of pieces then, and we would, little by little, we would maybe take a look at one or two, but we weren't really rehearsing them. And then it got to a point where I think everybody just said, well, let's just work on these things, and what else are we going to do? On one hand, it was great just to get together and do stuff we know, but on the other hand, it was like, why we can just work on stuff. We have time, because like usually all of us play in groups where some of the music maybe is very difficult, very challenging, but usually very under rehearsed in New York, because everybody's so busy and running from one thing to another. So you plan a rehearsal, but not everybody can make it, and then it's a sound check, and you kind of run it, and then you get a good percentage of it, because everybody's so good. You get a good percentage of it, but you never really get it together, or because there's not much that kind of time. And here we could, so we not only could we spend time on it, working on things here, but people would then, they would take it home, we'd work on it at home, come back, it would be better the next week, it would be, and so yeah, it was definitely this group to form at this time, playing this music. It was a really special thing that maybe could only have happened that way. Although the only reason, like this particular version of the band, I'm kind of the leader because it was set up that way, because we're playing my music in this case, and we're doing that, but it could be any of us at any time. This is just sort of the way we're, like if you think of us, it's kind of like just being able to shift focus sometimes. Like right now it's sort of focused a little more as my thing, and the next one might be different, or all of us, as it's also been. Right?
It could really be any of, it's a collective trio somewhere in the DNA. Even playing Michael's music.
Yeah.
Writing music for this trio, now that Mike has presented this work, the Palindrome Suite, I feel like there's some bigger things, bigger pieces at work within the composing. It's been eye-opening and to me, and if I write for this trio, it's definitely changed the way that I'm going to approach composing in that way.
So the thing about both of these guys, I like the drummers I connect with the most. There's almost no thought process. There's almost no thinking. Like, oh, this person puts the beat a little here, a little bit. It's just, there's no thought process. And I've had that with, several great drummers, and I could go through and name names, but the thing is that I know when that's just right, then I can deal with that. And we really got to explore that here. So by the time we got to thinking about recording, there was no question. Of course, this is what needs to happen. And with Chet, similarly, we got to know each other a little bit through doing these different projects, and we start talking, and we kind of, find all these different areas. Like with most people I know that I really like working with, there's the common ground, there's the similarities, and then there's the things that are really different and that are unique. When you have all of that going for you, and people are they're playing music at the highest possible level, can learn or interpret anything and bring something to the table like that, it's, there's so much there. It's like, wow, that's the way it just felt today playing. It's like we put so much time into it and everyone put so much time individually into it, that it's just like this. It's like just hanging out.
It feels all too rare, unfortunately, because we don't get to do this, and especially given the pandemic, but in the world today with music, we don't get to do this as much as we would really like to do it, So when you get to do it at this level, and it becomes about more than the music, then you get together and you're not, of course you're thinking that you want to play well, but outside of that, a lot of it is just like getting it to the level where you're just so grateful to be present with these people and just doing trying to do the right thing at the right time, or making the right sound at the right time, or not even trying really, just responding to what's happening, because the level of trust there has been reinforced by this history or the relationship or common interests.